The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, available in theaters and streaming exclusively on HBO Max today. Back in the role of Ed Warren is none other than the actor Patrick Wilson. How are you, Patrick?
I'm good, buddy. How you doing?
I am better for talking to you. So back in the role of Ed Warren, a paranormal investigator. He's been at this a while. You've been at this a while. Here.
I literally can't seem to find all the demons, so I have to keep looking. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I've looked everywhere.
Have you really looked everywhere, though, Patrick? I mean, at this point in time. Oh my
really
gosh,
not.
What is it like to return to a role in your career here?
Yeah, no, you know what's funny is you rarely get this opportunity, and
Right.
it's easy to say, oh my God, you've done 3 of them. We've actually, meaning me and Vera Farmiga, have played these roles. This is our 4th time playing Ed and Lorraine Warren. But I gotta say, it's a complete luxury. I mean, we have a blast working together. Our movies hopefully are really scary to people, but we also try to find the heart and the humor and all that. So it's actually a real blessing, because a lot of times, you'll sign sequel deals for things, and you hope, I don't even want to do this again.
Right.
Or it was, and we're real lucky that we have fun making the movies and that they work, because, as you know, rarely do things both be financially successful and super enjoyable for you. It's a win-win.
Did you grow up liking these types of movies? Watching these types of movies?
No, not really. I mean, I was certainly a big movie guy, but not. I wasn't a horror guy. I really wasn't, and it was just my relationship with James Wan, who I directed the first 2 Conjuring, and we did Aquaman together. I did another series called Insidious, a couple of movies with him doing that, and it was really our relationship, and just it was a lot of. I loved it. I really did. I felt like it actually got me out of my comfort zone. I used to do a lot of theater and a lot of musical theater. And,
yes.
And when I got into movies, most of the stuff that I did was pretty. God, how do I say it? I underplayed a lot of things. It was very sort of natural, and it was really rewarding to just sort of go out there and really just let it rip, and scream and yell and damn the devil back to hell. So,
if you will.
It's good.
Yes, and obviously you've been nominated for a Tony for your work on the stage and Angels in America, along with also obviously the Phantom of the Opera, which you were in that film. I loved you in Fargo on TV. What a great TV show that is and was. Certainly the season you were in on that. What was it like to work on a TV series based on such a remarkable movie in Fargo?
Yeah,
Patrick?
no, it was fantastic. I mean, that movie is always been one of my favorites, and I actually, by the time I got the job when they offered me the second season, I hadn't seen the first season, and I was sort of like you. I just felt like, I mean, this movie is so revered. How do you do a TV show?
Right.
And then, honestly, one conversation with Noah Hawley, the showrunner and really just guru behind that whole series, writer, director, producer. He sold me on it, and it was a similar tone but a different story, and it was awesome. It's funny. Actors guys that play the good guy a lot. You always want to play the villain or the or the character parts, but I got to say, playing Lou Solverson in Fargo was one of the best roles of my life, because he was everything that you want to be. He was just that good and solid of a guy, that would never back down from anything, but just a pure heart. And like, man, this guy makes me feel dirty. So it was fantastic.
And plus, you worked with a television acting legend in Ted Danson. What was that like to be on the set with him?
My fellow Carnegie Mellon alumni.
Yeah.
Alumnus. Yeah. I mean,
like?
one of the best. Honestly, he is. He's one of the best. I for a guy that was so successful in TV, he's so natural and effortless in making it look natural and effortless, which is of course the goal of every actor. Like, if you see somebody working, you're like, ooh, they're really working. But I would rather you just go, it looks like it fits him. Looks like that was easy. And then I've done my job, because you should be convincing. And Ted is just the one of those guys that can go in and out between comedy and drama. He's so funny, so charismatic, and a great dude, and just a great guy to boot. We spent a lot of time together.
Patrick Wilson here on the Rich Eisen Show. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, is in theaters today, also on HBO Max. So what are your sports teams? Which teams do you root for? Wilson.
I grew up in Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So I'm a big Buck fan, big Bolt fan. We've had a lovely year.
You sure have. My gosh, you sure have.
I know. It's been awesome. Actually,
yes,
I did that NFL-a-thon thing.
Yes, I remember that last year. Yes, you and
I wore my little hat, and everyone mocked me for not everybody on your show, but everyone, oh yeah, you're a Buck fan. Oh, sorry. Oh God, remember 2003? Yeah. Just keep waiting. So I was super excited for that. Big year for Tampa sports.
Yes, It certainly helps to have Tom Brady when you want to flex. You know what I'm saying? It certainly
It does. No.
But I mean, what a year! I mean, it was the city of champions, for crying out loud. Tampa Bay.
Unbelievable. The Rays have been on a great run. Now they're with the Yankees, and I'm a huge sports fan, and I've been in and around New York longer than I actually ever lived in St. Pete in Tampa Bay. So I was a Yankee fan before I was a Rays fan, because when I was there were no Rays. We would go watch spring training, and I was a Cards fan as a kid. So, and my dad was actually close friends with the boss. So George Steinbrenner actually set me up with my first meeting with an agent. Actually, I've never said that before, but it's true.
So what? No, hold on a second. I got to stop you.
Isn't that funny?
All right. Well, hold on a second. You, Patrick Wilson, your father, tight with George M. Steinbrenner III. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. In Tampa, a little backstory. So my dad was a TV anchor at WTVT down there for, he was an anchor for 50 years, and he was in Tampa for 30. My brother's the anchor now, and my dad and my mom always did this Christmas show that the Steinbrenners put on, and for all at-risk kids, and it's an amazing event they do every year. My brother now does it. So my point is, over the past 25 years, my dad became very close with the Steinbrenner family. Mm-hmm. So, and it was always one of those things. Well, hey, your kid's going to be an actor. Well, hey, when you need some help, give me a call. And you're always like, yeah, come on, you're George Steinbrenner. And sure enough, I wanted to go. I was in college, and I wanted to meet an agent. And sure enough, within a phone call, because he knew so-and-so, I mean, he knew everybody.
Of course.
Set me up with an agent. I went in, and they were like, wait, why are you here? And I was like, my dad's friends with George Steinbrenner. I mean, ridiculous. Just pulling out every stop.
Why not?
It's pretty awesome.
By the way,
why not?
By the way, I like the way that you telling the story using the Larry David voice for Steinbrenner. I thought was outstanding, Patrick. I caught that because that's the way he did sound. I mean, that's the way he talked. I know. Unbelievable.
It was awesome. He was. The thing is, when you know that family down in Tampa,
yes,
different than obviously, clearly, much different than your experience as a New Yorker through the lens of the Yankees. But down there, because he was so active in the community and all the philanthropy that he did, it was. They're just an amazing family. So we've always had a great relationship with them. I'm just talking about. I've never talked about the Steinbrenners before.
I love it, Patrick Wilson. This is the type of show for you to do it on right now. And certainly, I'm a native New Yorker. I'm from Staten Island, New York, a diehard Yankee fan, and so I grew up with a front row seat to Steinbrenner's 70s Yankees, 80s, 90s, and obviously all the way through his passing. You then would definitely have to agree that if he was alive today, you would definitely not be professing your love for anybody other than the Yankees on television or radio.
This is very true.
Please.
This is very true.
Never do that.
And I will tell you, in the mid-'90s when the Rays finally came up,
right.
I could still wear both hats. I could wear the Rays hat, my original Devil Rays jersey. I could wear them in New York because they were like, oh, isn't that sweet? Oh, look at you, cute, wearing the loser, And it wasn't really until early 2000s, obviously close to 2008 when they got really close, that you felt like, oh God, do I have to pick? And that's the story of an actor. It's sort of like wherever you land is, your home. But I carry such a deep pride for my hometown team as well.
Yeah, it's
as
like
well as the Yankees.
it is like that Seinfeld episode where Elaine was told to take the Orioles hat off sitting in Yankee Stadium. That's real. That's real.
Oh, hey, so during when the Red Sox won in 2004, and a dear friend of mine, Jody Mankiewicz, who's married to Doug Mankiewicz, I sat with the Red Sox wives in Yankee Stadium. I said, listen, you're a friend of mine. I know you since the fourth grade. I cannot. I'm not cheering for the Red Sox in the wives section. Like I won't be a jerk. I won't cheer for the Yankees.
Right.
But that was a very, I just because you got that. It's like code. Like I'm in Yankee Stadium.
Of course.
I don't care how many Red Sox I'm surrounded. And she perfectly understood as I sat with all the Red Sox wives, very quietly cheering for for the Yankees. And then of course they left saying, we probably won't be back. And then of course they came back.
No,
So
I know.
we won't talk about
it is so sensitive, this sort of stuff. I love it. I love it. Patrick Wilson here on the Rich Eisen Show. And so, I mean, congrats on everything that you've done in your career. Aquaman, obviously. Do you get a lot walking around, now that we're post-pandemic or pre-pandemic about Aquaman? Is that the thing that you get a lot because of how remarkably wide released and successful that was, Patrick? You get a lot of that?
I get probably more from the horror movies
Conjuring,
because from Conjuring and Insidious too. I think because the way that those movies hit people, and Aquaman because I'm underwater and in this crazy blonde hair, people I'm not as easily recognized for some reason.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of drift in and out, look like every other white guy.
Okay.
So I'm okay.
And how well do you swim, Patrick? You're a good swimmer now?
I swim well. I grew up in Tampa Bay. I grew up on the water. I'm quite the swimmer.
Right.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Plus, Steinbrenner got you your own natatorium back in the day. I'm sure.
See, well, there's that. There's that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hey,
you
man.
got me to the Olympics. I don't know.
Wait a minute. George can do everything. It's amazing. The Conjuring. George made me do it. Available right now in theaters near you. The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. Available in theaters and streaming exclusively on HBO Max today. Patrick, thanks for the call. Let's do this more often.
Yeah,
certainly,
no problem.
since your Tampa Bay teams keep winning. So, congrats on that.
Yes, sounds good.
You take
Good
care.
talk to you.
You got it. At Patrick Wilson 73 on Twitter. At The Real REEL Patrick Wilson on Instagram. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.